Welcome to another episode of Power Alphas. I'm one of your co-hosts, Sabby Piscitelli. And yes, I'm sitting on a different side of the table because my beautiful fiance, Mandy Saccomanno, is always with me, but she said she wanted better light.
Well, not only better light, but I realized that this is my better side.
Oh, it's your better side.
So we have been using my bad side. No, I don't have a bad side.
Oh, so you don't have a bad side now.
But, we all have like a better side, so.
So if you notice, my helmet is behind her and her lotion is behind me, which is kind of weird, but it's okay.
It's good. So welcome to another episode, everyone. Excited to be here. We have a lot of questions to ask today. We did a little Q&A. We have some questions. A lot of good stuff. And how you doing, babe?
I'm doing good. Can you believe summer's coming to an end already? Kids are going back to school.
I know.
Friggin' hot, dude.
It goes by so fast.
It goes by so fast. We're like, less than 2 months from the wedding?
My gosh. People keep asking me, like, how's wedding planning? And I'm like, it's good. A lot of the big stuff have been done. It's the little things. And the little things, like, add up. And the little things what make the wedding so amazing as well. So it's like you have to do these little things, but damn, it's like.
Well, I'm going to say thank you now for taking care of little things because I haven't really been taking care of little things.
You know what I'm going to do when they do the when they do the thanks for everyone? I've seen it on Instagram where it's like, and thank you to blah, blah, blah. And I'm just going to be like, and thank you to myself for planning this wedding.
I was going to ask, Sabby, what have you done during what have you done? What have you done?
Just write checks mostly, really.
Oh, man.
Plan his party, his golf event.
No, honestly, Mandy made a good point. Like the big decisions I'm involved in, right? But when it gets to like the tedious stuff, they're really good at that. I'm not. I don't have the patience. But at the end of the day, it actually crowds the room. I feel like sometimes because then we got to go back and forth and debate.
Yeah, then I don't want them.
Little things. So honestly, I trust Mandy. If it's something big, then I come in the play and I make the decision with her, obviously. But it's her day. We all know it's the woman's day. And I'm just very excited to marry.
Just grateful to be there.
I'm just grateful. I'm just thankful to be there.
You should just say that at your like thank you. I'm just grateful to be here.
That's great. That's great.
No, I mean listen, it's I already get teared up just even thinking about it. It's gonna be an amazing, amazing day. I get to marry my best friend, the love of my life. But it's I know a lot of things go into this. So also I just want you to know that, if you need my help or anything, I'm here. But I don't want you to stress either because when we get to that weekend, everything's got to be done.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be a beautiful weekend.
Namaste.
And I don't want no stress.
No, namaste. I do have a question, though. Are we writing our own vows?
So funny. I was actually thinking about that the other day. So if you don't write your own vows, is that when you repeat after me? Is that when they go repeat after me?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't even know how that works.
Well, that's like the repeat after me. I think is kind of like
I don't know.
It's already that's right before it's a priest or ordained whatever it is right before they officially marry you. So I think that's always there. But I think you can just do like readings, whether it's a Catholic ceremony, whatever it may be. So you don't have to. But I think this is my opinion. But also, I'm not set in stone with it. I kind of like the idea of reading our own vows, but I don't know if I love the idea of saying them out loud. Well, but then that's kind of weird. Then it's like you're not including your family and friends in your vows. So I take that back. I don't know if I like that.
So here's another question. Do we freestyle our own vows?
Like Tony, how funny was that?
No, I mean a freestyle meaning like do we pull out a piece of paper and read off the paper?
Okay.
Or is it like, do I... because both of us have been in the moment. We've been in front of cameras. Do we just cut like a promo?
No. So I will tell you right now, if we're writing our own vows, I mean, you could do whatever you want, but I will have my little piece of paper. I will, you start those ahead of time. You start putting them together. You want it to be not super crazy long and you want it to flow. So I think it needs to be written out. If you think if you have that much confidence in promo work and you want to go on the fly, you could do that, but I don't know about that. I ain't going on the fly.
Yeah, I think it should be probably written out, right? And
most of the time it is.
You should probably
it's written out. I was just joking.
Memorize.
But we are. But we got to make a decision. Are we doing the vows? Are we pull out a piece of paper and then we're gonna read it, or?
I would like to do our own vows. I think it's more special. It's more, you actually sat there and gave the time to talk about why you're marrying this person. I feel like it's very special, and I feel like our family would like it too. It doesn't have to be crazy. Daria Baronato and Tony, now Baronato, at their wedding. It was really funny. You guys probably saw on social media. Tony surprised Daria with a rap, which was like totally off the cuff of like
really
who Tony
good, too.
was too or is. So everyone was like shocked. It was really funny. But yeah, we will not be rapping at our wedding.
Oh, I can't sing or rap.
I can't rap.
But yeah, no. I mean, I'm.
Let us know, guys.
What's the? Yeah, let us know in the
What do you think
comments,
we should
please.
do?
I think
hear
you're
them
right.
out.
I think we do say our own vow. I think it means more. I
Special.
think it's that moment where we can express to each other and everyone's family, friend, all our friends and family that are in that room, how we truly feel about each other and why we're going down this path. I think
I agree.
I think it's more personal when it comes from from
It
heart.
is.
But what is the what's the what's the amount? Like how long
How
do we
long?
have? Yeah.
We can ask our wedding planner and like because we obviously don't want to keep our people there for, like depending on our ceremony how long it is. I think that's a question that we have to ask of how long. You don't want to be sitting there writing. Sabby pulls out his notebook and
Yeah,
it's
like I don't want you to pull out. Listen, I don't
He's
want
gonna
you.
have pages on pages on pages.
I don't want Mandy to pull out her page and have a staple. That means we're in trouble because it's a staple because there's like numerous
No.
pages.
Knowing who
it's got
I-
to fit on one little page.
I talk less than you. I'm short and sweet to the point. My vows are gonna be like, oh, I love you so much. Okay, I can't wait to marry you.
Oh my gosh, her opening up. I love you. Bye.
Bye. Now
Sabby-
let's get drunk. No.
I got a question. Actually, I have probably a question for both of you.
I love it. Let's go.
So, growing up when you were, as you were younger, you had that envision of being married, right? Did you have, both of you, did you guys each have like a thing that you needed to have happen when you were younger that you want to have happen now?
Dude, that's a great question. I'll tell you something, Ben, that's really funny about that. I used to say when I was a kid or young all the time, I used to just randomly think to myself, I wonder what my wife's doing right now. I wonder where my wife lives right now.
Really?
I wonder what my wife is into sports. Like I literally would be like, I would like be like, I don't know, 15, 16, 17 years old. And I'd be like, I wonder where my wife goes to school at right now. Like in like time, like, I was like, even like thinking like, I'm gonna be my wife one day. What is she doing right now in this current time? Is she even born yet? Like in that.
And I probably wasn't.
It's funny because we're only six
No,
and a
we're
half
not that
years
far yet.
apart.
Kidding.
But I think 6.5 years is a great gap for a male and a female, in my opinion. But I would always think the randomest things like, well, what's my wife doing right now?
That
Like
is
random. It's
funny.
so
That's
weird,
cool.
right?
I
And
like
for a
that.
guy, like that is kind of interesting because I feel like a lot of guys, as opposed to women, don't really think about their wedding day one day or like who they're gonna marry. But I'm also more like a dude because I grew up with boys, and it's so funny because when I was trying to figure out my wedding dress, I was very much like a lot of women have this idea of what their wedding's gonna look like, their dress, what they've wanted for years, even like a ring. Like, I don't know, I'm just very different where I never had specific like criteria of like what my wedding dress was going to look like or what my ring, what I wanted. I told you obviously a little bit of what I liked was the diamond, but like I just was a very different girl. I feel like a lot of girls like, that fairy tale wedding. I didn't really think about weddings that much or getting married when I was younger.
But I've
Maybe 'cause I was surrounded by a lot of men.
said this about you. You're always very like monotone in a sense of like I've never seen you get really excited or not. Like you never get really
That just
high or
pisses me
never
off.
get low. No, but I'm saying you don't really get like I don't know, like you're just
Say this like overly excited.
no, you're just
about-
very like monotone with your
'Cause I'm very
emotions and
balanced.
feelings and balance. Yeah, so
Very balanced.
you're not a type of person to get all sentimental and deep and like, oh my god, my whole life I couldn't wait to put on this wedding dress and go down. Like she's not like that. She's not vulnerable like that. She's never been like that. She's very
Because I'm more like I'm more like my dad,
like
Shredder.
like to be honest,
Shredder. You guys know my dad.
Like to be honest with you, Ben, when we go to the deli up north, and we're in a deli, right? Like she loves the deli. When we go up north, she helps her family. She works cash register, right? But like sometimes like I'll say, babe, I'm leaving by, and I'll just like naturally go give her a kiss. She'll like move away sometimes
No.
because she is not comfortable
I do
kissing me
not.
in front of her brothers or her dad. And I almost see the like she hesitates for a second. She'll be like. And then she'll like turn her cheek or something. I'd be like, what are you turning your cheek for? But she's always been like, yes, you do. Actually, I caught you doing that like a couple weeks ago. We were at a deli.
I don't like.
I was
think-
like, babe, give me
No.
a kiss goodbye. What the heck's going on here?
Kissing on the lips is fine, but like,
No,
I'm not gonna like make out
like,
with
no.
you in front of my dad.
Yeah, well, we're gonna do the kiss in front of your dad. What are you gonna
Yeah,
do? Are you gonna do a little
obviously.
peck? She'll be like this. She'll be like, time to kiss the bride. She'll be like, mwah.
No, you know what? Honestly,
She might move her lips.
we need a therapist here right now because this is probably
You
a
are
reason.
Shredder a little bit.
No, this is probably one of the reasons growing up I was very, very nervous around my dad. My dad made me because he portrayed me as his daddy's little girl, princess. Like, I hate to say
You
it, but,
are
like,
uncomfortable showing any
never-
affection around your dad.
but never, never grow up. You can never talk to boys. Like, eventually I did, but it was always like, I was very much like sheltered in that aspect. So I feel like when I'm around him, I mean, now it's different. I'm 34 years old. So like, obviously it's different, but I think there's probably a part of me inside that I'm still a little bit like, my dad and I are very close now, especially, but like growing up, I would never talk to my dad about anything when it came to boyfriends, even when I was like able to have a boyfriend later on. I was very nervous around him like that. And
I could tell.
He has that way about him, especially with a girl. Like, my dad's not that type of guy.
He's old school Italian.
He's old school, but I've been with friends with like their dads, and like their dads joke, and like they're not like, I'm not saying they're creepy, but like they'll like say when a girl is good looking, or like they'll make a comment. They're a guy. My dad thinks, like he said, my dad's very, very like loyalty and respect. Like, you don't look at a young girl as an older man, and there's no exception, which I like. But he also
I definitely noticed, even the first couple times we were around your family, like your affection, you were like very not affectionate. Like, you were barely holding my hand around them. Like, you weren't touchy feely. Like, we've had this conversation before, but it's almost
little hug.
She's definitely different.
I'm not crazy into
No, she's
PDA.
different. No, but even Ben, when we first started dating, Mandy was not a public affection person at all. Like,
Public display of affection.
yeah,
PDA is not really my thing.
she wasn't like. It was like almost behind closed doors. The door would shut, and she would change.
When the door was shut, forget about it.
The door was shut, she would change, Ben. But I'd be like, what? You're like, yeah. But yeah, sometimes like she was very like, yeah. But again,
just more a little
but
more
now that I know
reserved.
your dad, though, I see where you get it from, though.
I definitely get it
Like,
from my dad, because my
your
mom's
dad-
not really like that.
No, your
But my
mom's
mom
not
and
like
dad,
that. Your mom's like total opposite of that.
Well,
that's nice.
they're separated, my mom and dad now, but that was one of their little like issues for a while.
Did you ever see your mom and dad kiss when you were little?
Never.
Never, right? See,
I don't think
that's crazy,
I can't
though.
remember. My brothers say the same thing. We can't really remember.
Yeah.
And my mom brings that up sometimes. So I think it's there's good and bad to it. Definitely, maybe a little more bad, but I think I've come a long way, and I think I've grown like away from that, because I think I was way worse with my ex.
Yeah,
used to tell me.
you've definitely developed. I think
better with you.
more and more me and you. But yeah, no, it's sometimes in the deli I laugh. I'm like, watch, I'm gonna go give her a kiss. She's gonna move.
No, well, that's why it's so important. Like,
I might have to come some undercover.
Yeah,
and I
Ben,
have
we have to get a footage of this.
I gotta film it behind the counter. Oh, got it.
Well, that's why
Love
we
it.
as children are such sponges in any aspect,
Yeah.
because we
Look at your parents. Take after your
everything in.
parents.
You take after your parents. You take everything. And so, like, if you see your parents not being that affectionate, you may not be that affectionate. If you see your parents being very affectionate, or you see all different types of households, like, I think it is a big reflection of that. So be careful what you do in front of your children, because they're gonna follow.
Good and bad.
Yeah, of course.
Good and bad. Absolutely.
Yeah. Of course.
But listen, we have a lot of good questions today. Let's get back to answering some of these questions. I like them.
Yeah, we're gonna have Ben read.
Ben's gonna read them off.
Some of the questions, so it's better. We don't have to look at our phones.
Yeah, I'll take care of you. So we've got a couple of different questions regarding, nutrition, bodybuilding, fitness,
Okay.
all of that good
I
stuff.
love 'em.
Kind
like
of
that.
just so up your avenue. So what are some of the biggest challenges you have faced in your fitness career, and how did you overcome them?
You want to go first, babe?
Yeah, I can go first. I would say my biggest fitness challenges would probably be sometimes hitting a plateau and getting a little stagnant, whether it's workouts, whether you feel like your body's not changing. If you're working out for a long period of time, this can happen. That's why I do recommend, depending on your goals, having a coach or being accountable of certain things, and also finding someone that knows maybe a little bit more about what you're doing and can help you in that aspect, like a nutritionist or fitness coach. So I feel like that's some struggles that I've gotten into, but it's never made me really not want to stop training. I feel like it's more of just like a hurdle in the sense of like, oh, I'm getting a little bored here. Like I'm doing the same thing. I don't really feel like anything's changing or getting better or getting worse. So I feel like that probably would be one of my challenges. And I think how I overcame that was probably just easy answer, switching things up, obviously. Just changing things like totally with what you're doing, getting a coach and doing, very much different exercises and workouts and nutrition and just kind of taking it all in. And it's like trial and error. It's a lot of things in fitness. It's very much of try it, see how it works. Even with food, you don't really know how your body's going to react to something unless you try it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have that. Or there's a lot of things that, work with your genetics and makeup. So that would be one of my biggest fitness challenges, I would say, and how I overcame it. What about you, babe?
No, I like that. I think one of my biggest challenges is kind of what we speak about now is actually taking rest days is number one for me. I was so obsessed at such a young age of training. I remember they used to have to lock the side gym door in college. I used to sneak in on Saturdays and Sundays. I swear to God, yeah.
No way.
I used to,
That's crazy.
they started locking because they caught me in there a few times. They said
Get that crazy boy out.
Yeah, they would pull the cameras up. They're like, you worked out here on Sunday? I'm like, yeah, I snuck in the side door. So, I think one of the biggest challenges in fitness too is knowing your own body. And what I mean by that is, everybody has different structural damage or structural tendonitis, or like, for instance, like you have to understand what lifts you can and can't do. And that comes really into play. Like, for instance, I don't put a bar on my back. I had a lower back injury in college. Every time I do legs, I'll do single leg press. I'll do single leg squats. I'll never put that loading on my back because I know if I put loading on my back, it's going to irritate my back, right? So as you want to get into this fitness world, you really have to have an understanding of your own body. Like my body, your body, Ben, everybody's body is different, right? So that's why sometimes you want to get a workout that's actually really more directed towards you and your strength and what you're trying to work on. So I think, the biggest obstacle to overcome in fitness is really understanding the rest days, because I know it's hard for people that are obsessed, get understanding of the rest days and how crucial the rest days are. And you really have to understand what your body can and can't do. From what you lift, how you structure your workouts. I know like I can't do 3 upper body days in a row because my elbows will flare up bad. I know I got to do 2 upper body days, a lower body day, and then upper body day. I have to be able to know my body. And I think that's important for everyone's trying to get in fitness shape is understand your body because everyone's different. And to kind of just get that recovery at the same time.
I like it.
I love that. And I was also going to say, I've noticed, there are definitely several ways that you can work out one single muscle group, right?
Yep.
So an arm curl might, with the cables might not work as well as if I did hammer curls, but I'm still activating that muscle, right? And it might
Absolutely.
be because I had an injury.
Yep.
So I think it all depends as well, like you said, what you're
Yeah, absolutely. Like I mean,
Everybody's
a lot of
different.
people had injuries. A lot of people have, some limited motion on their shoulders, or their range of motion isn't as good in some aspects. So you don't want to put those joints in vulnerability, right? Like if you have a tight shoulder because you had surgery, I wouldn't recommend doing shoulder presses above your head. I would recommend a lot of side lateral raises, front raises, delt raises. So like for me, it's like you have to understand where your body's at. And like there's always different ways to lift. Like just because you have, let's say you have a bad knee, right? You can still do legs. Just there's things you have to adjust. And that's what people really have to start realizing when they get into the physical training world.
Yeah, and also like not giving up when you have a limitation, because people are so quick to giving up of like,
Yeah.
well, I can't do that, so whatever, it's stupid. But don't be afraid to educate yourself. Or, nowadays with social media, YouTube, all these things, there's so many videos that you can educate yourself. So if you do have a knee injury or you do have something, you search that stuff and a ton of stuff will come up. So don't be afraid to do that. And like, obviously everyone, has limitations. So.
Absolutely.
That's great. All right, I got another one for you. All right. How important are micronutrients? Such as vitamins, minerals. Does that help muscle growth?
I personally think it does. I think everyone is different for what, different deficiencies people might have. I know a lot of people are deficient in like D3. It's a very common vitamin that people are deficient in. And I believe that vitamins and minerals will help your overall growth. I don't know specifically about the muscle growth, but I do know that it helps overall when it comes to, you're training hard, you're eating right, you're taking your vitamins, and it's helping your immune system. It's helping a probiotic is really good because a lot of protein can obviously sometimes, not to be gross, like back you up in a way. So it's like you got to get that fiber in, which helps you with the probiotics. So I'm a big believer. The vitamins I take daily are D3, zinc, vitamin C, probiotic. And we've been taking that CoQ10 yeast rice.
Yeah,
Is that
red
the right
yeast.
one?
Yeah,
Or red
red
yeast?
yeast, yeah.
Yeah. And Sabby and I recently just did the 10x genetic test, which
I
we
wanna get her,
do.
yeah.
We do want to talk about that more, but we do have to get on the phone with someone because we read it off ourselves, and it's like 40 pages. It's really crazy.
Close to your vows, right?
Right, exactly. So we really do want to get into full detail, but this thing is really cool because it tells you, your deficiencies. It tells you what you should be avoiding if you don't want to gain weight, what you should actually eat if you want to lose weight, vice versa, what you should just avoid in general because it does not like suit you. I was very shocked with a lot of mine, to be honest. I was telling Sabby about it, that like a lot of things on mine were very like stuff that I do have and I've never noticed an issue with, but it was a lot of like seeds and like nuts, a lot of like things that grow, chia seeds, which I thought were great for me, like grapes, which I love my wine, so I definitely won't be avoiding that. There's certain things, but I guess it's certain things that they say if you want to try to lose weight, you should avoid them. So that little rant with that, we want to talk more about the 10X thing that we did. But I will say that I do think vitamins and minerals are very important for overall health in general, not just muscle development.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. I don't. The reality is, the older you get, the deficiencies come more relevant, right? They come
Right.
more kind of magnified in the sense of, where your deficiencies are and what you need to be in tip-top shape. When it comes to muscle growth, the older you get, obviously, you lose the ability of the natural HGH. That's what, you really build muscle when you're younger. And as you get older, you lose natural HGH. And then you got to keep your testosterone levels high to build muscle and, high qualities of protein. But the question with the vitamins and deficiencies, I think you need to identify those and what vitamins you need. Like you said, everyone is different. Everyone has little deficiencies. I know you talked a little about the 10X, but that's deep in the genetic pool where, that's kind of like the new era of medicine coming now. They're just starting to blow up, and they actually just figured out this test where they could tell us like what is good for you if you want to lose weight, gain weight, and all those stuff, which is advanced stuff. But, a lot of people don't have the access to that. But I think the basic stuff is, if you're working out a lot, for men especially, magnesium is huge. Vitamin D is huge. Vitamin C is huge. So B12 complexes are huge. So I think, if you are training hard in the gym, make sure you're getting the correct minerals and vitamins, because you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not. When it comes to muscle growth, vitamins really don't come much into play, I don't think. You have to really check those, the HGH levels, your testosterone levels, see where they're at to really gain muscle. I know creatine is probably the most researched supplement out there the last 30 years, and I think more and more research is coming out how good creatine is for you. So if I would recommend, if you want to, kind of get in that muscle building growth, creatine is a great supplement to kind of put into your everyday supplementation. So,
and you need to eat. People that don't
Absolutely.
realize
Absolutely.
food is fuel. And, I've done bodybuilding shows and done all these things, and I actually never taken creatine before. I do want to try it out. I'm not opposed to it, but, I've built a lot of muscle over the years, and I truly believe eating whole foods and protein is my success to building a muscle and maintaining that. People don't realize if you're going to lift really heavy in the gym, you got to eat. You got to have enough protein. Most of the time, I didn't even eat as much before I got with my trainer, which I've had for a long time, but I go in and out with him. And it's like now that I stay on a program, I'm just accountable. And I go off of a certain, certain number of macros, and food is very, very important. If you don't have food, you are not going to gain muscle.
Listen, food is fuel,
Yeah.
and every aspect of it. And the older I'm getting, I'm learning the quality of food you put in your body is very, very, very important. So, that's a great question. It's a loaded question in a sense. Like I think you could answer that a whole different ways and get in different concepts of it. But if you are taking the time to go to the gym and work hard, you might as well take the time to know what your body needs. So, yeah. Amen to that.
That's great. I got another one. I actually really like this one. I hope. So, are there any recent trends in nutrition or weightlifting that you are excited about and or skeptical of?
In just weightlifting, we're talking, or diets as well?
Well, we could do diet too. It's kind of anything that you guys
say that
have.
question again. I want to repeat that.
So, are there any recent trends in nutrition or fitness or whatever that you are excited about that are coming out or very skeptical of?
I don't know if I'm excited about any that I could think of, but I'm a little skeptical about the Ozempic trend. And I don't know if that falls under that category.
Yeah, no,
because
definitely.
it probably should. I know a lot of people that have taken it. I don't have enough research, so don't quote me on anything. I don't know much about it. I don't think really anyone knows a lot about it. I know it's obviously originally for diabetics. So I do know it, helps it's with blood sugar and all these things. So if it's regulated, I'm sure it probably is okay. But I know a lot of people are taking it that don't need it necessarily, that aren't diabetic. So anything that's like popular and kind of starts in like Hollywood or whatever it may be, I am skeptical of, because it's a trend, it's a fad. Everyone's going to follow what the Kardashians are doing or what this one's doing just because they're on TV. And, I don't necessarily think it's always the right thing. And I don't think there's enough research, or maybe there is, I don't know. But I don't think there's enough research for the people that aren't diabetic to be on something like this over time. And, I don't know how long they're supposed to be on it or whatnot. Enough research down the road if there's any health risks or anything else, because when you dramatically lose weight like that, because I've seen people, it does work. Obviously, you've seen people lose a lot of weight from it. I don't know if it's healthy. That's all I'm going to say.
So I want to just chime in here and say my dad he is diabetic, and he was on Ozempic. He did lose weight, but he became such a different person.
Really?
So, he recently just got off of it, and my mom has said he's a completely different guy.
Really?
Wow.
He's like, oh, I have my husband back. So it was.
How long was he on it for? For a while?
For like a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. He was on it for a little while, and yes, he did lose weight.
But he's an actual diabetic, though.
But he's actually,
So what does he use now for his blood sugar? Is it just regulated?
It's regulated, but I also we had a podcast here, and she recommended berberine. Have you guys ever heard of that?
I've heard of it.
It's like
it's a natural.
It's a natural Chinese medicine kind of way. Yeah. And he's been taking it, and his mental he's still there. Everything's good. He's losing a little bit of weight too. It's just natural. So
interesting.
Yeah,
wow.
I think to piggyback on what Mandy said, why I think and I'm skeptical of Ozempic is because it's almost a theory too good to be true. I'm not a believer in taking shortcuts in life. And if you can lose that kind of weight, that kind of speed at that pace, I don't know if it's healthy for you. You just can't cheat the grind. And I've always said that I think if you want to be healthy and you want to lose a lot of weight and you want to feel good about yourself physically, you got to put in the work. And it's almost scary to see that people think they can just take this and boom, I'm going to lose this pound and be safe. And I don't know, like Mandy said, I don't know how much research actually is behind all this. And the sad part about it in this world, and it's just the reality, and some people are going to hate me for saying this, but we are such a money-based country in a sense of pushing prescription drugs and pushing, like these companies have made millions and hundreds of millions off this drug. And people that are in the pharmaceutical world have made a really good living off pushing Ozempic. Oh, look, you can lose 30 pounds, 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds. Like, to me, that's like, it's almost like too good to be true kind of thing, right? It's like, hey, take this pill and you look like Superman. Hold on. I'll take the pill, but what's the side effect? What are they giving up? So I do, like you just said, Ben, I mean, somebody's personality to be totally different? Is that the side effect? Is that what you want? You want the chemical imbalance in your brain to throw off everything. So for me, Mandy made a good point when it comes to that. I'm just a little skeptical of something that works that good. And I hate to like be rude, but it's like, if you want to lose a lot of weight, put in the work, eat right, train. And then when it comes to like the fitness fads, I don't judge, I don't judge a lot of things. I really trying to judge the fitness world. I think anybody who goes to work out is doing a really good service for themselves. I think it's awesome. I'm just not a huge fan of CrossFit.
I knew you were going to bring that
But
up.
I'm not. I've never been a fan of CrossFit for
I'm not
numerous
really either.
reasons. And I don't want to get a debate and everyone start fighting with me over here. I just don't know what they're trying to accomplish in their workouts besides cardio. If you want to do cardio, there's a lot of ways to do cardio.
Or like PRs. Aren't they trying to get like PRs?
It's not even PRs. It's PRs on time. And I just don't know if what they do is safe. I don't agree with how much stress they put on the body by doing 25 box jumps in a row. It doesn't make any sense to me. That's not what a box jump is supposed to be made for. It's an explosive movement. And your body is proven to actually decline after 4 reps of an explosive rep. So why do 20 reps and kind of put your body in a kind of danger of anything? I think CrossFit's good from a cardio aspect. I think it's great to, you want to get your cardio up. You want to improve your health. It's all great. I just don't know what they're trying to accomplish when they work out at CrossFit. But other than that, if you do CrossFit, do it. It's great. If you love it, keep doing it. Stay in great shape. Just be careful and protect yourself. That's all I can say.
All the CrossFit people are going to come at you.
Yeah, I know. It is what it is.
I'm kidding.
All right, I got one last question for you.
Perfect.
So do you guys do your research on the new up-to-date, advancements in nutrition and fitness? And if so, how do you guys stay up to date with that?
That's a good question.
Because constantly things are changing, right?
Yeah.
Things are new studies are coming out with different things. And I was just curious, do you guys kind of stay up to date with that?
I'll read and I'll educate myself if I'm interested, but I'm kind of a believer because I've been in fitness for so long and I kind of know what works for my body, what doesn't. I'm kind of a big believer if it ain't broke, don't fix it type thing.
I love it.
Not to say that I'm not open for suggestions and open for change because like Sabby said a little earlier, as you get older, your bodies change. Hormones, as a woman, obviously there's a lot of different hormones you go through. You have children. There's so many things, I'm still young, but I think I haven't really hit that barrier yet of like, oh, okay, I think I really need to figure out something else now. This isn't working because it's been working for me. I feel better in my 30s than I did in my 20s. Hope it just keeps going like that, but I don't think it does. But I think I haven't really got to that point of, reading up on a lot of new things and changing the way I work out. Or nutrition.
I agree with that. I don't know if I sit and read every day, but I do love to see new research or hear new people talk about what worked for them, what supplements they take. I know Gary Brecka,
I was
obviously.
going to say, you're a big Gary Brecka guy.
In the last year, I think Gary Brecka's really exploded on the scene of just, really helping you live a healthier life through natural stuff, breath work, sunlight, grounding, cold plunge. So for me, I still believe, doesn't matter what supplement you want to take, doesn't matter I think nothing cheats hard work and consistent and grinding. So I approach the gym every day of just outwork myself. I did yesterday. So for me, that's kind of like my mentality. Do I love to hear new studies? I love if I see something new, like the hydrogen water bottle we were doing for a long time. We're still in it, but we don't have our portable one right now because it broke. But
because we're drinking so much water that it's like every 2 seconds you gotta hit the button.
Yeah. So it's with each his own. This world is always evolving with better supplements, better research. So yeah, you want to keep on it, but at the end of the day, just go work your ass off, and you're gonna get results.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So.
Well, we do have one question, the last question that was sent to our email. So if you guys aren't familiar, please send your questions to poweralphaspodcast@gmail.com. We love answering your question. questions. And this is also from a question that we already answered from Aaron, but he has a little second follow-up. Hello, Sabby and Mandy. This is Aaron. I appreciate your advice regarding my question last week. I am not in a rush to get married. With God's timing, I know he will bless me with a wife down the road in life. I am just a little lonely and frustrated trying to find a girl that I can go on a date with. I do engage with women at my job, but it only ends in small talk, saying hi or hello. My question is for Mandy. Can you recall your time with Absolution and the storyline with you and Jey Uso in WWE? Good question. Yes, I can recall both of those storylines. Definitely, one of my favorites with Jey Uso and Naomi. It was a ton of fun. I loved working with Naomi. She was a lot of fun. We were good friends. And it was cool to be in a storyline. And, we made it feel so real. It was obviously Naomi's real husband, Jey Uso. And I think that hotel scene still has like an immense amount of views on YouTube. Don't quote me. I don't know how many, but that hotel scene really,
Killed it.
broke headlines. My dad might not have been too happy with it, but you know what? It was pretty big. It was actually a lot of fun fighting Naomi in like my robe and panties. Kind of brought us back to like the Attitude Era a little bit, I think people really enjoyed it. It was one of those really fun scenes, though. I always loved doing scenes outside of the ring. It felt more like theatrical and like you could kind of, I don't know, you kind of saw sides of yourself that you didn't really know you had because I never really took any acting classes or anything. So it just gave you another level of comfort of like, oh, wow, I could do this. And I knew like being sexy wasn't hard for me, but like fighting like in the hotel room was a lot of fun. So that was a lot of fun. And then also my time with Absolution was a lot of fun. It was kind of short-lived, unfortunately, because of Paige's injury, Soraya, which was unfortunate. But I loved that because it was very full circle for Sonya Deville and myself. Obviously, you guys know Tough Enough. We started Daria and myself on Tough Enough, and Paige was the one of the judges on Tough Enough, and she was always a little bit like out to get me. Everyone kind of thought she was nice to me behind closed doors, but for TV, she was a little bit like little like, what's this girl doing here, and does she really love the business and whatnot? And we dealt with that a little bit on Total Divas, and then full circle, it came around where she was the one that kind of brought us together in her return, our debut on Monday Night Raw. So it was really kind of a cool moment when we got that call of like, this is what you guys are doing. I'll never forget that day. The jitters, talk about jitters. Oh my gosh, funny story. Daria and myself, Sonya Deville, we had to run from one of the curtains, in the stadium backstage when Paige came out. First, she came out at a gorilla and did her promo. And, and she's like, and I didn't come alone. That was a terrible accent, but that was my Paige accent. And Sonya and myself ran, but I swear it felt like the cartoon when you're running and you have to cut the corner. Yeah. And you're like, you can't go too fast around the corner, but you're really sprinting. But it's like, like the Tasmanian, what's that cartoon?
When
you
you're
come around the corner. Yeah. We both literally felt like that. And Daria's so funny because she like tried to get in front of me. Fucking bitch. And
bitch.
And we like kind of like slid next to each other, but like I couldn't get too much behind her. And we had to run because we had to make it inside the ring because we had to be in the ring when Sasha Banks and Mickie James were in the ring. We had to be in the ring for that moment. So we had to make our cue, and it was we make our impression on our first show, obviously. So talk about jitters. Like, I don't even know. I probably shit my pants a little bit. I'm just kidding.
Too much information.
TMI. Anyway, so definitely such a great moment for myself and Sonya. Full circle moment. It was so much fun. A moment I'll never forget. I watched the video over and over again, and that was I recall my time with them. So I hope you enjoyed that.
Good memories.
Long story, Aaron.
Good memories.
short but sweet. Anyway, we thank you guys for listening. We are excited. We have some really big news coming out soon. We're not going to tell you yet, but stay tuned. Make sure you follow us on social media. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and OnlyFans TV. So, we'll see you guys next episode.
Thank you.